just to kind of understand how will the project flow. This is a 12-week project. Each individual works on one project. There is only five people in the whole program. So essentially, there's one guy working on one project. Uh, in your mind, how does the project flow? That's number one question. Is there interaction between each of these projects? That's number two.
Okay. Right. So the way I see it, as far as the number of students, for the first project, there will be one. For the second, it's quite intensive, so we will require two people for that. For the third and fourth, it'll be one each. So a total of five students. So the second project basically has multiple deliverables within it. You have the battery portion of it, and you have the electric vehicle portion of it, and these have to be combined as far as the simulation is concerned. And then you have the ML portion of that project. Uh, about the flow, I would expect the first 2 to 3 weeks, it would take some time to pick up the domain, right? To understand the domain, understand terminologies, read research papers, do literature review. I would expect the next 2 weeks would go in, understanding the ML algorithms, the concepts behind them, what kind of algorithm should we implement for the problem we're looking at, what kind of features should we collect for this algorithm, right? So the for the first two projects, the second month is probably going to be spent on building the simulation models and getting the data, simulating and getting the data that is required for the ML part, and also implementing the ML algorithm and looking at what kind of results we're able to get. When it comes to the third and fourth projects, when it comes to the third project, from week two onwards, I would expect that the person starts actually collecting data from the field. Like I said earlier, for the third project, it's pretty cool. It's going to start all the way from data collection to actual model building. We would spend a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, on actually collecting that data, transforming that data and bringing it to a format that is actually usable for an ML algorithm. And when it comes to the fourth project, I expect this is the one field where people would have a very little domain understandings, because bachelor students are generally not very strong when it comes to controls or when it comes to signal processing. And I think that's where at least a month would go on understanding the domain, and understanding the what kind of features to extract and things of that sort. So that's what I see for the first 1 to 2 months. Basically understanding the domain, collecting the data, extracting features. For the first two, of course, building the simulation model, and then implementing the ML algorithm and sort of getting results. In the last month, for 2 to 3 weeks, I would like to focus a little bit on submitting a paper to a journal. I think all of these are pretty cool research projects, and at the very least, we should be submitting a paper to a journal or a conference, if we do get to that point in time. I want to spend at least a couple of weeks on writing a paper and at least submitting it. And of course, then they come back with iterations, and it's an iterative process to correct it and keep sending it. But at least make a single submission of the paper in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, that's great. Like, just out of curiosity, did you work as a research assistant at Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I was a research
Yeah,
assistant there.
yeah. Just to give the people who attend some flavor, guys. This is how probably a research assistantship in a very good US university will flow, and probably Anirudh is condensing a lot of it. And since there is kind of a deep mentoring that's happening in this program, he is condensing probably 2 semesters worth of knowledge in probably 3 months. Usually, you are you are asked to kind of do literature review and kind of then go on to model building and then go on to analyzing your data and results and then writing a paper. But usually that happens over a 2 semester period, and the reason it happens over a 2 semester period is because of two or three things, which is basically not enough time to just focus on that particular project. And the second thing is not there is a lot of guidance from a professor, but not a significant amount of guidance to finish it in say 3 months. So there is a lot of independent work that you need to kind of do in a grad school if you're studying outside India, especially in the US. So this is a great opportunity for you all to kind of put your efforts into a 3 month period and work on some of the very cutting edge projects. Your ability to kind of work on a project is what defines your opportunity to kind of get into a good company. One really good project has the ability to kind of teach you different aspects of it and also get you a very good project. And especially with the in this particular domain, as the domain is progressing towards, as the industry is progressing towards autonomous and electric vehicles. So this is really interesting what's happening. So this is just a sidetrack that I wanted to kind of give. Anirudh, just to kind of, oh, would you agree with what I said?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you absolutely, hit the nail on the head while you said, this is 2 months of work condensed to 2 semesters of work condensed to 3 months. Like you said, it's you don't focus just on this. You have coursework, you have a bunch of different things during your, research assistantship. So you cannot focus on a single project and complete it in 3 months. And also, you get maybe half an hour of attention from a professor, maybe once in a week or once in 2 weeks. So you don't have that hands-on approach. But since we're working pretty closely with students, the expectation is that you would be able to do implement and get these projects running in that period and be able to submit a research paper in that amount of time. Uh, yeah, so I think you condensed it pretty well.
And the most important thing is the problem statement is not clearly given when you start your research project. Like nobody kind of comes and says, "Oh, okay, you're building a machine learning methodology to predict battery age while in storage." Rather, it's like, "Oh, okay, these are the bunch of things that you can pick a topic on, and your initial days kind of goes on that." Coming to the timeline, how like to do really really good work, right? How much time per week do you recommend putting in?
I would suggest 15 to 20 hours a week, if possible. I think that would be absolutely great, and you could do some really good work. But the bare minimum I would suggest is at least 10 hours a week. Anything less than that, and you probably won't
Yeah,
complete in
yeah.
that time.
We have multiple research projects that's going on, and one of the things that we have heard from some of the best experts in different fields is at least 15 to 20 hours per week in order to kind of get the most out of the program. So that's what we have heard as well. What are the outcomes and what are the opportunities? Say, for example, one of the outcomes that you spoke about is publishing a journal or a paper. Uh, so apart from that, what are the opportunities in the industry that you basically see, and why is this important for people to kind of kickstart or doing something like this?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, having been in the industry for at least a few years now, I know for a fact that these are projects that the industry is actively working on. The research projects of this sort is something that you would see, engineers today in the industry working on every day, and companies funding these projects, right? So having work, after you work on these projects, whether you decide to go for a master's degree or whether you decide to apply for jobs, if you manage to publish a paper in this time, of course, that paper is going to give you a big boost, right? So especially if you're trying to break into this industry, say automotive plus machine learning, or just into data science, or mechanical engineering, machine learning, in this space, you will see a lot of students who've done some coursework online, right? You will see people with Coursera courses, or but you have to differentiate yourself, right? Because there are a bunch of people who've done courses, but very few people who've actually managed to do an awesome project and publish maybe a paper with that project, right? That sets you apart
And it's a very niche industry that's growing very very rapidly.
very
And
rapidly.
so if you basically have the ability to showcase some of the projects, which I don't think there are a lot of people who will basically show any of these things. Your ability to kind of be an outlier and get identified is very very high. So that's one of the big outcomes and opportunities, and one of the reasons why we do this, because unfortunately, there is no platform which kind of provides this kind of access to people in India, unless you are. So the reason I knew this kind of work does happen in the US is because I had an opportunity to work as a research assistant at University of Wisconsin-Madison when I did my grad school, and I understand Anirudh, when he did his master's at BT, probably had the same kind of experience, and not everybody can needs to either go to grad school to get this, or can go to grad school to get this, but now you can basically do it out here, and it also allows you to be one step ahead when you apply for grad school, and also one step ahead when you apply for full-time job roles. So that's really important. Great. So